Ask an advisor. Should I pay off my mortgage or invest in CDs? I refinanced my mortgage at 2.375%, but I can get a CD at 4%. Plus, I want to retire in 7 years. Art asset. I've been debating whether to pay off my mortgage. I've refinanced at 2.375% and can get a certificate of deposit, CD, for a year at 4%. I was adding to my mortgage payment by about $1,000 a month to pay. Continue reading right pointing arrow the post Ask an advisor. Should I pay off my mortgage or invest in CDs? I refinanced my mortgage at 2.375%, but I can get a CD at 4%. Plus, I want to retire in 7 years. Appeared first on Smart Asset blog. Below are your comments. My wife is a big Dave Ramsey fan and is really pushing for us to pay off our mortgage quickly. We have a 2.5% rate and I have tried to explain how we would be better off investing versus making extra payments. As a compromise, we have decided to gradually build up money in our investment account, INST. My mortgage is in the early years of 2.125% 15-year term. I have enough cash to pay it off, but since the Fed is not about to cut the interest rate anytime soon, I'll leave it in the bank where it earns just over 5% interest. The textbook will tell you to not pay the mortgage off, but I can tell you, speaking from personal experience, not having any debt is a freedom you can't put a price on. The goal of investing is earning the highest return within your risk tolerance. The current rate on that mortgage, 2.375%, means that money is really cheap now. As time passes, that mortgage will be even cheaper. The smartest move is putting the money somewhere else to earn a higher rate than that. A few items the author failed to address. When you pay off your mortgage, that money is not accessible without the cost of refinancing or selling. If you save the dollar rather than pay down your very low-rate mortgage, you still have access to it in case of an emergency and if you ever change your mind. Next news. Beware the new Treasury buyers sparking fear in world's largest bond market. Bloomberg. A changing of the guard among the biggest buyers of U.S. Treasuries has Wall Street veterans bracing for further pain in the world's largest bond market. Most read from Bloomberg. Israel latest. Israeli army strikes Hezbollah posts in Lebanon. Top House Republican wants help from Democrats to pick KA Speaker. NYC boosts security ahead of all out for Palestine protest. Wider war in Middle East. Cool D-tip the world economy into recession. Canada's Supreme Court voids most of Trudeau environment. Below are your comments. At some point, Biden and the Democrats who run the government will order the Fed back into the market to buy treasuries, because they will never cut the deficit spending. None of this should be a surprise to anyone who has been paying attention and has a mild grasp of high story concerning countries creating massive debt. The economy is struggling to adapt to the lack of massive stimulus. Interest rates remain significantly below long-term averages. The period from 9/11 to today has been disastrous, with whomever happened to be in power neglecting to turn down the spigot for fear of losing power. Don't know when. Mortgage rates need to go up to break the overinflated housing prices. Young people cannot afford the down payments and the taxes are eating everybody's lunch, including those safely harbored under 3% mortgages. Gold stands as a sentinel to protect the wealth of astute investors in times of currency mismanagement, dilution and debasement, as is occurring today. Next news. Two big dividend stocks offering up to 8% yield. Bank of America says, buy. TipRanks. The only certainty is change, and that's on investors' minds today, now that the latest inflation data is out. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reported a month-over-month gain in consumer prices, the CPI, of 0.4%, and an annualized CPI rate of 3.7%. The annualized rate was flat from August, and both figures were unfavorable compared to the expected INs, which are 0.3% and 3.6% respectively. These data points come as economic headwinds are piling up. Oil prices are rising along with the heat in Below are your comments. REITs are generally overvalued right now, especially MREITs. Some dividends are seductive, but don't fall for it. Both of these stocks have had big run-ups recently, especially compared to REITs in general. Enough to make me sell off a portion of each. So BAC. I think you're a little late to the party. You should have made your prediction back in May. Also, if you look up TipRank's own rating of the author, all of these picks by the so-called experts are nothing but a pump and dump FN scam. I am not making recommendations, but I would suggest taking a look at ET if you are looking for a gray at dividend stock. Buy at your own risk, or don't. It is one of my favorites. Motley Fool's recommendations have cost me thousands of dollars. Don't listen to a fool. For yield, I prefer Mo and PM. Next news. L. Arian says wild bond market volatility shows loss of anchors. Bloomberg. The rout in the U.S. government bond market can be attributed to the absence of all of its anchors. According to Mohammed El Arian, most read from Bloomberg. Israel latest. Israeli army strikes Hezbollah posts in Lebanon. Top House Republican wants help from Democrats to pick KA Speaker. NYC boosts security ahead of all out for Palestine protest. Wider war in Middle East. Cool. D-tip the world economy into recession. Janata's Supreme Court voids most of Trudeau environment law. We have lost the EC. Below are your comments. The easy and more truthful reason is the Fed is no longer backstopping bonds. Traders were making billions due to they knew with any drop the Fed would be a buyer. If the Fed wants to bring inflation under control, it will have to continue raising rates gradually. Prices are still highly elevated and starting to become ingrained, which will make it harder to decray. Ace inflation. Also, wages are not keeping up. It will be an ugly winter and maybe will continue. The inflation problem is largely driven by Biden's fiscal policies, massive deficit spending. This guy is literally wrong 100% of time. This guy talks a lot but never says anything useful. Next news. Medicare Part B premiums for 2024 will cost more. Here's how much you'll pay. USA Today. Medicare premiums will rise by 6% in 2024, taking a bite out of Social Security's 3.2% cost of living adjustment. See what you'll be paying. Below are your comments. Seems if the raise is 3.2%, that should be all they can raise the insurance. The 6% increase in cost proves that 3.2% is not right. Obviously, cost of living is higher than 3.2%. Of course, the government just throws out numbers anyway. They can cook the books to make it be anything. Remember one thing about your Medicare premiums. Your premium for 2024 will be based on your 2022 income. That is because your 2024 premium has to be set effective at the beginning of the year, when your 2022 income tax return is the latest one available to the federal government. Your 2023 INCO. Rise in Medicare Part B premiums, but the U.S. Congress and President could send money to Ukraine and Israel instead of providing money to U.S. retirees first. The cost of living increases are well above the pension increases and are well behind Medicare for everyone, even those who never paid a penny into Medicare. Next news. JP Morgan bond losses hit $40 billion. Bank of America's should be more. Barron's.com. JP Morgan's wider unrealized bond losses may indicate that Bank of America's could top $130 billion. The bank reports its third quarter next week. Below are your comments. Gold stands as a sentinel to protect the wealth of astute investors in times of currency mismanagement. Dilution and debasement as is occurring today. Large players have shorted gold to dissuade people from buying it even though it is proven over thou sands of years to protect wealth in times like th. The unrecognized losses would be worrisome if the banks weren't receiving big subsidies from the Fed, in the form of interest at the rate of 5.4% on all bank reserves. The total bank reserves is up by dollar trillions, owing to previous bouts of Fed QE. The Fed is losing money, which will come at the express. $130 billion? Let's see if you are right. No mention of plus or minus. Anyone tracking this guy's crystal ball? TKs. Never buy BAC stock. I've been burned a few times with Bank of America purchases, and PFE. These two only move one way and it is down. Next news. Nvidia stock eyes buy point as AI chip rivalries grow. Is it a buy? Investors Business Daily. Nvidia, a giant in data centers and gaming, is supercharging investor interest in artificial intelligence. Is Nvidia stock a buy as it works on a buy point? Nvidia leads in artificial intelligence AI chips, but competition is rising. Below are your comments. I bought this stock back in 2008. My split adjusted cost is about $4.68. I will probably never sell, and hopefully my kids can take advantage of the step up in basis if it's still around when I take the dirt nap. Bought it before the stock split and it was great, and then crashed in 2022. As it tanked, I bought a lot more and now it's exploded again. So far I've done great, but it's been a wild ride. The analysis is focused on the short term despite the fact the NVDA's earnings are expected to begin to grow significantly long term as more AI operations go into effect. I bought NVDA at $137 on Sept. 2nd and I'm not going to sell, but I'm not going to buy more now at $270 and a PE of 81. Next news. World faces most dangerous time in decades, warns JP Morgan boss. The Telegraph. The world faces its most dangerous time in decades, the boss of JP Morgan has warned, as global conflicts combine with fragile economies. Below are your comments. Dimon keeps complaining about regulations as he announces higher profits for JP Morgan Chase. It is because the U.S. is a rudderless ship thanks to uneducated voters. Why do we assume that rich people always know everything? Listen, I'm at max scared you can't scare me more. No one is going to tell you the truth just cause they feel it in their heart. They always want some hing. I wonder what Jim wants. Probably for me is to sell and help make stocks cheap. I'm not selling and will continue to live in the trash, auntie. For the past 20 years or so, we have been having the most dangerous time for the world almost ever. Why year? Someday it will come true. Next news. Ford considers cutting shift at F-150 Lightning pickup plant, UAW memo says. The Wall Street Journal. Ford Motor is considering cutting a work shift at the plant where it builds its electric F-150 Lightning pickup as demand for the EV truck falters. Below are your comments. I'm really getting tired of the threads that lead to a paywall. If this continues, I will be leaving Yahoo. I know others have already. Keep the $105,000 sticker on some and you will have dealer lots full. This will bomb out before they get EV batteries plants open or before Biden term is over. They need to lower prices and those trucks will sell. Enough said. I guess they can sell these trucks to the 1% that own all the wealth. The rest of us can't afford $90,000 plus for these trucks. Corporate greed has crushed the middle class. Maybe they need to raise the prices. Next news. Jamie Dimon warns the Israel-Hamas conflict may upend the economy. This may be the most dangerous time the world has seen in decades. Fortune. Last week's attacks on Israel may have far-reaching impacts on energy and food markets, global trade, and geopolitical relationships, Dimon warned. Below are your comments. Oh, what I would do for a few mean tweets and world peace. The world starting getting dangerous. The moment Biden was installed as president. The last time we had this environment, Jimmy Carter was president. High inflation, hostages in Middle East, unstable government, and weak and incompetent president. Can somebody shut this guy up permanently? He is right about 28% of the time, and all he does is stir up fear, and for no valid reason. Next news. Musk is the world's richest person, by a lot. LVMH's Arnault falls on stock hit. Barron's.com. A tumble in LVMH stock this week has reduced the wealth of Bernard Arnault, who controls the luxury giant. Jeff Bezos could soon overtake him. Below are your comments. In a world without morals, the master of Ponzi is on the right spot. I'd love to know what a current valuation of Twitter would look like. The world's richest, and one of the world's worst people. Stay out of NY, they will sue you for wealth lol. Elon Musk is the greatest conman that ever existed. Please subscribe to my channel. And if you like it, please thumbs up.